Classes of the breeding classes. Make sure you're prepared and ready. We'll be starting here in a few minutes. Our judge today is Maurice Irwin from Davis City, Iowa. He will be making all the official placings on the classes today. We're going to start with our first class today of commercial ram lambs. The only participant in that class is Slate Graham.
Good morning. My name is Maurice Irwin. I reside in Davis City, Iowa, right by Lamoni. I have a large-scale cow operation right now and a large meat goat operation I work at. I've recently been out judging most of these county fairs, and I'm a certified ABGA judge, American Board Goat Association judge. I travel around quite a bit, state to state. I also have a little bit more about me. I graduated from New Virginia, Iowa, just a couple hours from here, so I'm kind of a local person. I did leave for a while, went up to South Dakota State and graduated with an animal science degree. I guess to fill in a little bit about me. With that said, we're going to go ahead and start off with a really nice ram that's going to really, you handle him. He's lean and trim and really hard over that rack. He really squares up right in that back of that hip junction. We could square him up a little bit more in that first rib, but still a very long-sided ram, very complete. Please give him a nice round of applause for our single entry here.
So the champion commercial breeding ram goes to Slate Graham. Slate Graham received a purple there with his commercial ram lamb. Now entering the ring will be the first class of commercial ewe lambs. Shiana Brown and Slate Graham both have entries in this class.
We have a pair of ewes in this class. We're going to go ahead and start with one that has a little bit more finish on it today. We really appreciate that. It's outgrown and really putting the pounds on. It's going to hang up a little bit more high quality meat when we're all said and done. I really love the freshness and touch of that extra muscle over that loin, and really back into that back leg. It really shows that extra expression. The next doe, you love the size of the scale about her. We just need a little bit more days on feed to fill her out a little bit more, but still a very excellent view to round off our class. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them.
First class of commercial ewe lambs, Slate Graham received first place and a purple ribbon, and Shiana Brown had second place with a blue. The next class, class number 2 of the commercial ewe lambs, will be Shiana Brown and Slate Graham again. We have another pair of ewes in this class. I think we got a really youthful looking one that was going to lead off the class, really fresh up in her makeup and in that neck area. A little bit more fuller in that rib cage, especially in that first rib. It really squares out. And you carry it back over that loin edge, really squares back up to that hip and has that nice leg to go along with it and bounces up in a really nice package. The next doe, I love the extension about the neck about him and the length of body. We just need to add a little bit more spring of rib to her and put in that first rib and then carry that all the way back to that loin junction and just add a little bit more freshness to her. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out. In the second class of commercial ewe lambs, Slate Graham received first place in a purple, and Shiana Brown received second place in a blue. Next, we will have commercial ewe lamb class number 3. Two sheep that are coming in from Jolie Fisher and one from Gage Sester.
we had a trio of ewes in this class. I really appreciate the quality. There's really 3 deep in here, you know. It's a really tough and competitive class. I think there's some slight differences. I think there's one that really overpowers it, but the first place one really fresh in that makeup and really bold in that first rib and really spreads that loin and that extra muscle all the way back there at hip junction and really pops in that back leg. Really neat view to lead off our class with. The next one might be in that top touch longer, flank, but still the one that's next that really spreads and opens up in that first rib and really has a lot of muscle and a little bit more rump in that area. Muscle back there compared to the one in third. We just need to have the one in third a lot more muscle in that back leg to move up any higher. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out.
In class number 3 for the commercial ewe lambs, first place in the purple goes to Gage Chester. Second place in a blue went to Jolie Fisher with number 959. And third place in a blue went to Jolie Fisher's lamb that was 960. The next class coming out to the ring right now is the 4th class, the last class of commercial ewe lambs. Leah Sandin, Lily Anderson, and Allie Sandin.
I think it's because the door was shut yesterday, and it was dark.
this U class. I think there's a pair that really fights the battle pretty hard up here. I think we're gonna go ahead and lead off with the young ladies that really sit square there when she sets it up. It takes a little effort, and they're rock hard and lean. Then she has a lot of muscle over that top. I think it excels over the 1 and second. You get back into that hind leg, really has that extra explosion there and that meat and muscle there. Then we move to the 1 and second. Really, actually, probably a little bit longer sided U than the one in front of it, but we really love that. I don't think she has quite the amount of product in that back leg compared to the one in first, but still a very excellent U to round and come in second. The next U in third just needs a little bit more fresher look. Would love the length of the body about her and has plenty of muscle about her. We just need to freshen her up today to move her up any higher. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out.
In the fourth class of commercial ewe lambs, we are, it has been awarded to Leah Sandin, first place in a purple, second place to Allie Sandin with a blue, and third place to Lily Anderson with a blue. Also, I want to make a reminder to all the exhibitors, of which some are not paying attention right now because they're busy showing sheep, obviously, but please don't shake hands. Just say thank you, nod your head at the judge, and walk out with your sheep, okay? Thank you. Currently in the ring, all the first place commercial ewe lambs are coming back out to be able to name the champion commercial breeding ewe. We have 2 entries from Slade Graham, 1 from Gage Sesker, and 1 from Leah Sandin.
As we bring our first place ones back in here for our overall drive in this U division, I think I'm really pleased with the quality, you know, and the time and effort, how these animals look, and how powerful they're made, and how much muscle they possess. You know, I think there's a couple that's a little higher on the curve today that's going to meet the criteria a little bit more than a couple of them. But I think in their own right, you know, down the road there might be a few more days on some of them. But I think there's two out here that really fit the bill, and it's really highly competitive. I think there's some slight differences. I think there's one a lot more square over that rack and rib, and really square made all the way back. But it might not be the longest one in the class, you know. And then you got to weigh that out, which one's longer and still have that square made rack and enough product, you know. It comes down a little bit more to preference. I think they're really outstanding ewes, and I'll go out and let you know which one I think is the best, you know. Usually I like to go out and shake hands, but since we're in this time of the stage in this C19 area, I'll just go ahead and recognize our champion, and we'll bring out a second place one to go ahead and select the reserve. Please give the young lady on the end a round of applause. She'll be our winner.
The champion commercial breeding ewe goes to Leah Sandin. Let's give her another round of applause. Right now we're bringing out Allie Sandin's second place lamb from that same class number 4 to name the reserve champion commercial breeding ewe.
As we bring our second place one out, it doesn't really drop anything off through the competition. Like I said, that was a really deep class. But I think there's one that really excels, got that extra width in that loin across that top. You know, may not be quite as the longest bodied one in the class here in our division, but the young man in the second hole will be our reserve.
Champion commercial breeding ewe goes to Gage Sesker. Let's give all those kids a round of applause. Now we will be selecting the grand champion commercial breeding lamb. And so that will start with Leah Sandin's commercial breeding ewe and Slade Graham's commercial breeding ram.
as we bring our 2 breeding stock back out here for our overall, I know this is one of the things that's going to move on to the shootout. It's going to go ahead and win a trip, and I think there's going to be one that really represents your county and really put together well and really adequate and really going to show off and do well down the road. The young lady on the end here will be our champion. Please give her a nice round of applause.
The grand champion commercial breeding land goes to Leah Sandin. And the reserve grand champion commercial breeding lamb is the breeding ram, the exhibited by Slade Ram. Oh, no, wait, hang on a second. We have to do the others. That was my mistake. So, no reserve champion yet. Leah is the champion, and now we bring back Gage Sesker's reserve champion.
As we go out and go ahead and select our reserve, I think very comparable. They got a lot of muscle in there. I think one's a little bit more square made all the way through that rib cage and all the way back in that loin. The young man on the end with the U will win for our reserve. Please give him a nice round of applause.
The reserve grand champion commercial breeding land goes to Gage Sesker. Give all those kids a round of applause. We will be starting next into the home raised market land classes, but the folks, anyone that won a champion, reserve champion, or grand or reserve champion in the previous, in the breeding classes, if they can head back to the, we're doing it pictures at the end. We're doing pictures at the end now, so don't worry about pictures now. We're doing pictures later at the end. So, be prepared, be very prepared. So, the first class of home-raised market lambs has 1 lamb from Jolie Fisher and 1 from Leah Sandin.
We have a pair of lambs in here. Really hats off how well these individuals have grown these lambs out. They're really put on the pounds. I assume they really had an excellent rate of gain. And I'm going to go ahead and lead off with one that really looks fresh in that front end, really clean in that brisket, and then really opens up in that rib and squares out right over that loin and really spreads out and really has a lot of rump expression. Really excellent lamb put together. The next leather, really high gaining one too. You know, got length of body and really adequate amount of muscle. We just need to freshen him up a little bit more and add a little bit more rump muscle to him to move him up any higher. Please give them a nice round of applause.
In the first class of home raised market lambs, first place in a purple goes to Leah Sandin. Second place in a blue goes to Jolie Fisher. The next class, home raised market lambs number 2. Both exhibits will come from Jolie Fisher.
We have a pair of lambs in this class. I think we're going to go ahead and lead off with the one that really, has that extra muscle and really extra lean for me today compared to the one in the second. The one in the second just carries a little bit more white meat up in that front flank a little bit more compared to this one. But they're very similar in their meat quality and their meat design. Very unique, but I think the one's just a notch longer, notch a little square in that first group compared to the one in second. Please give them a nice round of applause. Very highly competitive class.
In that second class of home-raised market lambs, class number 2, first place in a purple goes to Jolie Fisher. That's ear tag number 957. Second place in a blue goes to Jolie Fisher with 956. Now we will be selecting our champion home-raised market lamb. In the ring right now is Leah Sandin with her class winner from the first class, and Jolie Fisher from her class winner in the second class. it, Jolie. Leah Sandon's lamb weighed in at 140.9, and Jolie's lamb weighed in at 134.
As we bring our first place winners back, I'd like to appreciate the young lady for getting up and dusting herself off and getting right back out there. I really appreciate the hard work you're doing out here. These animals probably outweigh her by about 50 pounds, so excellent job getting back up and going back at it. With that said, I think there's one that really power and square made and really has that extra muscle and really extra clean and lean. You know, I think that one just needs a little bit more days on speed, but I think it's a very similar type of kind, just doesn't have that extra boldness as the one that's going to go ahead and lead us off with. The young lady on the end will be our champion.
Champion home race market lamb goes to Leah Sandon. We'll now bring out the second place from that class with from Jolie Fisher.
Bring out our two for our reserve selection. You know, a little bit closer for me. They're kind of cookie cutters out here. There's going to be a little bit slight difference here. I think there's one that's just a little bit more bold, a little bit more pressure. And I think a very well-deserving animal. The young lady on this side will be our reserve. Please give her a nice round of applause.
And the reserve champion home race market lamb goes to Jolie Fisher with tag number 957. Let's give all the home race participants another round of applause. Reminder that all the photos for champions will be taken following the show. The next class that we will be bringing into the ring is purchased market lambs, class number 1. Slade Graham and Lily Anderson with 2 lambs. Slade's lamb weighed in at 102.6, and Lily Anderson's 2 lambs weighed in at 112.5 and 112.9.
We have a trio of lambs. We got some difference in type and kind out here. I think we're going to go ahead and feed off one with a little bit more shape in that rib cage, a little bit more shape over that lower, a little bit fuller in that back leg. You know, you really appreciate it. It's probably not the longest flank out here, but you really appreciate the amount of muscle this one shows. The blue lamb, you really appreciate the length of side. You know, she's really long, really profiles nice, a little bit fresher than the one in third. But the length, I don't think she has that natural muscle over that loin compared to the one in the first. But for really an excellent lamb to round off our class in second place. The next one is a little cleaner and fresher in that front end. Not quite as long as the blue lamb, but still has a natural muscle. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out.
In that first class of purchase market lambs, first place and a purple went to Slade Graham. Second place and a blue went to Lily Anderson's lamb with number 973. Third place for Lily Anderson with a red with number 972. Coming into the ring right now will be purchase market lambs class number 2, Lily Anderson and Gage Sesker. Lily's lamb weighed in at 125.2, and Gage's weighed in at 133.9.
A very interesting pair of lambs we got here. One that's really, really square made in that rib and rack area. You know, it really explodes that and has that extra mass and that extra volume all the way in that loin. Then it really carries out and fills out in that back of that hip and that rump area. And then really balances up when it gets him set up. You know, it really puts nice parallel lines and a nice pretty picture to look at. A very excellent lamb to lead off our class. The next one, a little bit more, we just need to freshen up a little bit, but one that's really long-sided, has an adequate amount of muscle. We just need to add a little bit more in that back leg to move him up any higher. Please give him a nice round of applause for bringing him in.
In the second class of Purchase Market Lambs, first place in a purple goes to Gage Sesker, and second place in a blue goes to Lily Anderson. In the third class of Purchase Market Lambs, coming into the ring, Allie Sandin will have 1 entry and Gage Sesker has 3. In this class, Allie Sandin is in the blue shirt. Her lamb weighed in at 140.9. The other 3 weighed in at 140.2, 141.7, and 142.8.
one of our bigger classes and one of our tougher decisions. I think all four of these really can be competitive down the road. All four of them could probably win a lot of shows. I think there's the two or three, you know, they really appreciate, you know, the amount of muscle that all of them have. I think the one that's going to win our class balances up a little bit better, has that extra muscle in that back leg compared to the one in second. But the one in second is probably a notch longer, holds it together better at that shoulder compared to the one in three. It's just not quite as linked to body, but you love that extra rib cage and that extension that this one has. Just isn't quite as long as the one, but it has a lot more rump capacity compared to the one in fourth. Another one that's really long-sided, you know, just doesn't have that actual fullness of muscle compared to the three ahead of them. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out.
In class number 3, the results for class number 3, first place went to Gage Sesker with a purple with lamb number 967. Second place went to Gage Sesker with blue with number 966. Third place went to Ali Sandin, and fourth place went to Gage Sesker with number 968. In the ring right now is the purchased market lamb class. The only entry is from Ali Sandin. This lamb weighed in at 156.7.
We have a single entry in this class, one that really picture perfect. You love the length and how the profiling picture, but then you get over to the top of him, really explodes with that extra muscle and that mass, and really profiles a great picture from the side, the way it's fit up and done up today. Excellent job, young ladies. We will need some more competition, and you'll probably get it in the next drive. So thank you very much for bringing it out.
In class number 4, the only lone contestant was Ali Sandin. She received first place and a purple. Now coming back into the ring are all the first place lambs from the 4 classes for the champion purchase market lamb. To the left, my left, or to the far east would be Blake Graham with his winner from class number 1. And then second would be Gage Sesker with his winner from number 2. Briar Fisher is currently standing there with Gage Sesker's class winner from class number 3, and Ali Sandin would be on the far right with her class winner from number 4.
as we bring our first place ones out here for our division, I really, all of them for what they bring to the table. They're really all heavy muscled. You know, we got some different weights, about 40 pounds difference in weights here, but I think there's all at the marketable weight, depending on what you want to do with the carcass. I think really game on today. I think there's 2 or 3 that really can go on and really be competitive. I guess it comes down to preference. You know, if you like the longer bodied one that really holds together, or if you want a shorter one with a lot of rump muscle in them, you got that out here. You know, I think one with a little bit more freshness up there and really holds it together when they walk around the ring. With that said, the young lady on the end will be our champion.
Congratulations to Allie Sandin on winning first place, the champion purchase market lamb, with her entry from class number 4. There is no reserve from that class, so these are your choices.
With that said, there's still 3 excellent individuals out here. I think, you know, there's really give or take, but there's really 2 that are really comparable. They really have a lot of muscle and a lot of rib shape. The one in the middle will be our reserve. Congratulations.
The reserve champion purchase market lamb goes to Gage Sesker with his first place class winner from class number 2. Let's give all those a round of applause one more time. Now we will be bringing back the home raised champion and the purchased champion for the overall grand champion market lamb. The champion home raised was Leah Sandin, and the champion purchased was Allie Sandin.
Well, it's a fun show when this type of quality really comes out to the top. The decisions always should be hard, you know, and I think it is very hard to make the call here, but I think there's one that really a little bit more longer body than the other one, but you know, and then there's one that's probably a little bit more fuller in that back in that hind saddle compared to one of them, but you know, I think either one of these would be very highly competitive. You know, this is just one opinion today. You know, down the road, we have a different show. You know, there's different breeds. You'll have different divisions and stuff. So, with that said, the young lady with the darker one will be our champion.
Congratulations to Ali Sandin for winning the overall Grand Champion Market Lamb. Leah, you need to stay out there. And then we'll be bringing back in Gage Sesker's Reserve Champion Purchase Market Lamb from class number 2.
It's really fun when you get to come out here and pick for your second place ones, and the next one comes out and it's really highly competitive. You know, my hat's off to the Montgomery County Fair for having the quality of stock we do have. I think there's one that's just got a little bit more expansion in that first rib. You know, when I go out and measure them, and it has a little bit more length of body. We'll go ahead and follow up with the young lady on this end. Will be our reserve.
And the overall Reserve Grand Champion Market Lamb goes to Leah Sandin with her Champion Home Raised Market Lamb. Let's give all of the Market Lambs a round of applause one more time. Our next class will be, there's one entry. Our next class will be Home Raised Pen of 3 Market Lambs. There's one entry, Jolie Fisher. So now in the ring is Jolie Fisher with her Pen of 3 Home Raised Market Lambs. This is the only entry in this class.
It's always neat to see a group class. You know, when you go down to these bigger shows, there's a lot of group classes. I know when I was growing up, I used to have a advanced cattle feeder project with cattle, you know, and you want to keep the uniformity. You know, they graded that on the weight gain, you know, and then I don't know how these were all graded if they do that, you know, with the lambs, they probably can. You know, we just usually ran them loose too at the Warren County Fair, but very neat to see. You want to keep the uniformity in the muscle, and I think this group does a really good job. Please give them a nice round of applause. It'll also be our champion. So.
So in that class of home-raised pen of 3 market lambs, first place in purple goes to Jolie Fisher. That also makes that the champion home-raised pen of 3 market lambs. The next class will be purchased pen of 3 market lambs. There are 2 exhibitors, Gage Sesker and Lily Anderson. As a reminder to exhibitors, what they are planning to do is if later you want to just clean up the manure that's in your pens and put it in the bunker out to the northeast part of the barn, make sure that's taken care of after the show. They'll try to keep the wood chips as best they can for the goats this afternoon and the hogs tomorrow. To the east side of the ring are Gage and his 3 purchased lambs. They have a total weight of 424.7, and Lily Anderson's is to the west side of the ring, and her 3 lambs have a total of 350.6.
As we move into our purchase pen of 3 out here, I think it's pretty unique that you go out and find 3 that really match up quite well, you know, and then still be able to own them, and the quality really stacks up there quite well. I know these one group of them were really competitive right up to the top, you know, there's some give or take, but when you get these 3 out here, they really match up really well in muscle capacity and how they're put together. This group will be our first, and this will be our second. But please give them a nice round of applause. Excellent set.
In that class of purchased pen of 3 market lambs, Gage Sesker received first place in a purple, and Lily Anderson second place in a blue. That also names the champion purchased pen of 3 and the reserve champion. Right now in the ring, we will be naming the overall grand champion pen of 3 market lambs. The lambs to the east side would be Gage Sesker's lambs for the purchase pen of 3, and to the right would be Jolie Fisher's, which are from the champion home raised pen of 3.
As we bring our 2 champions out here for our overall, I think, you know, we got to look for the one that has the link into the 3 of them, you know. I think we talked about a few of them all day long, and they were really highly competitive. I don't see a bottom one in these 3 over here. We'll go ahead and stay with our purchase ones for our champion. Please give them a nice round of applause for bringing them out.
So the overall grand champion pen of 3 market lambs goes to Gage Sesker. And Lily Anderson will be bringing her pen of 3 back in since they were the reserve champion.
As we go ahead and choose our reserve pin, I think one that has a little bit more meat and muscle capacity, and the 3 on the right here of me, I really appreciate the volume and the extra meat quality and the power up they have. They'll go ahead and be our reserve champion. Thank you very much for bringing them out. Please give them a nice round of applause.
The overall reserve grand champion pen of 3 market lambs goes to Jolie Fisher with her entry that was from the home raised pen of 3 lambs. Now, do you need to take a break? We have showmanship is next. Okay, now we're going to start in with showmanship. We're going to start with senior showmanship first. If anyone who is in the senior showman category would like to bring their lamb down, we can do showmanship, and then we will follow that with the junior intermediate showman, and then beginner showman. We have no beginner showman this year, so senior showman first, then junior intermediate, and then we'll do the overall showman. We have 2 participants in the senior showman currently out in the ring, Allie Sandin and Shiana Brown.
You got him? Did you get him? This one's like really fat. Awesome. I'm happy with it.
As we go ahead, we got 2 entries in this class. I think they're excellent individuals in their own right. I think you can tell, when they hit the ring, there's hours and hours of work put in one of these really at home, and the work, you get them to lead, you get them to brace. There's a difference out here, especially with these lambs. You really need to fine-tune them that way. And the young lady on my right really does an excellent job. She'll be our champion.
And the champion senior showman goes to Allie Sandin. Next, we will bring our junior and intermediate showman into the ring. And Allie will be coming back later for the overall showman award. In the ring for junior and intermediate showmen. Off to the east, off to my left, Jolie Fisher, then Leah Sandin, Gage Sesker, and Lily Anderson.
Oh, as we bring these four individuals out for our showmanship, you know, there's a little bit difference in, you know, the fitting out here. You know, I talked to the kids about what they would like to do to improve their animals a little bit, you know, compared to some of these animals in the middle, you know, how they're fitted and what they want to look like, you know, and how they're set up, you know, and a lot of work goes in at home, you know. Standing out in this ring, it makes my job easier to have a couple to choose from, but all four of these did an excellent job. Please give them a nice round of applause while I take them home to consider. Like I said, it really comes down to the two in the middle, but I'll go ahead and use the young man for our champion today. Please give him a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to Gage Sesker on being named the champion junior intermediate showman. Now Gage and Allie Sandin will return to the ring for the overall champion sheep showman. While this is going on, if some folks would like to be able to start taking champion photos over at the backdrop, they're moving the awards over there. They can start working on that. And don't forget, your ribbons are here at the front table in a packet, so don't forget to pick up your packets with all your ribbons. Thank you.
as we come out here today, I'm really pleased and I'd like to thank the Montgomery County Fair for letting me to go ahead and judge the sheep show. I really appreciate it, especially when quality and the kids that are hard workers and, you know, they really come out and have their animals prepared the right way, especially these two. You know, they're fitted up and they put the time in and all the hard work. I didn't ask them a lot more questions because I'm sure the way these animals, they could probably pick one out and tell me a lot. You know, I can just tell by that way, you know, when you've been around the livestock industry, when you have animals presented this way, they really know a lot about what's going on. So with that, it's kind of my preference today. I think the young lady did an excellent job. She'll be our champion.
The Montgomery County Fair Grand Champion Showman is Allie Sandin. Thank you very much.